Without hair, even.
Yeah,
Now, you two got hair, but that's what I take out mine. I got mine somewhere. They stay on better.
They do. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
What a wonderful group we have tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Every week, I tell you, it's unique. Sometimes we talk about our regulars, but we have people that are steady, but we also always have different people that come in every week, and that's what makes it really special. Look around at our incredible group we have. We're so glad to have Dr. Fine back with us. We've been missing him. So tonight it's going to be Harvey and Nick and I cantor because of all the allergens in the air. It really affected her. So she's going to be okay, but just to show you how it really impacted. How many of you felt what was happening walking around? Did you feel it? Charlie, you felt it. Oh, boy. Well, I don't know. It's sort of some people went around their normal business, and then others, were walking. Yeah, all the kids' activities were canceled.
Sidel is down in Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh.
She sent me a picture. That's where she's working now.
Right.
She sent me a picture, and their air quality down there was 349, and they were told to stay inside, windows closed, and mask up.
They said that it's the equivalent of smoking 10 packs in one day when it's that high. Isn't that crazy? We luckily here, for some reason, we didn't actually get it as bad as New York and Philadelphia and Delaware. Toronto's bad too.
Rochester
sorry,
was
Barbara.
bad compared to here. Even Rochester was worse than Buffalo.
Yes, my son looked it up. He said Syracuse also. Well, how blessed we are to be together. Let's take a nice deep breath of clean air. We are going to begin with Hine Mato before we bring Bruce on, page 128, and this is the Jacobson version. That's the organ.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לי 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 לי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לי 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 לי. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, לי 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 לי. La 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 la. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, יא לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
I'd like to invite over Bruce Chorus to welcome you home.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome home. There's a stand here. Are you expecting me to be reading something this
I
week?
think that must be from the Holocaust Resource Center. That was
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why.
I mean, the announcements aren't that long tonight. I don't need to have them. Anyway, it's good to see everyone. If we were outside tonight, it would be a smoky Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're inside where the air is clean and everything is good. It is very nice to have everyone here. I was planning to say, yeah, we just have a plain old ordinary service tonight, which is unusual for us. And we don't, because we have Harvey filling in for the cantor, which means that when Harvey does it, he slides over one bench and is at the organ, which works better with Harvey's octaves than the cantor. So it's a nice treat to have the organ playing tonight as well. I'll be back a little later with our announcements. We have lots of stuff coming up. It's a busy time for us. In the meantime, enjoy the service and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to turn to page 142 to welcome the angels of Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 la. La 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 la. Barechuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 la. La 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 la. Last time, everybody. La 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 la. La 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 la.
So we're going to be going backwards in our prayer book. Just imagine us going back through the week. And let us turn to page 124, and we'll read responsibly at the bottom. This is a reading that Bruce had mentioned at the end of last service. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block or young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. And now we're going to go back a couple more pages to page 120 for our candle lighting. We had a trip to Pittsburgh this week, organized by our very own Nancy McGorry, and we have a number of people here that participated on the trip. If you were on the trip and you would like to come up to light candles, please come. Just be careful. We do have a railing over here. Anyone who was on the trip, come. But it's optional. You don't need to feel compelled. Wonderful. I think we had about 32, 31? 32. Oh, that's my favorite number. That's Lev in Hebrew, heart. Okay, you need matches. You're not miracle workers. Chris, you got it. Do it. You got it. Just like on Zoom. Angela, you have a beautiful.
I have a beautiful voice.
Yeah, come on. You can do it. Come on right here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. See, I told you. We're going to lift our Kiddush cup. Maybe, Carol, would you like to hold it? And Harvey, who was also a trip participant. And you're doing double role. You're leader, and as am I. So we're all trip participants.
Double duty. Baruch atah
123.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. It's up to you if you want to drink. To many more synagogue trips together.
Amen.
And just be careful on the way down. I'll be talking a little bit about what we saw on the trip during my talk later tonight. We are going to welcome in Shabbat officially page 138 and 139 with L'chadodi. We're going to sing the first, second, fifth, and ninth verses. On the ninth verse, we rise, face the doorway of the synagogue over there. We bow to Shabbat bride as it enters, and then we welcome each other by waving.
Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mekabela la 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 la. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 l'chadoti likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila la la la. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Hit oreri כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לה לה לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, לה 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 לה
We had our Shabbat bride enter in, Gloria Tatuski. Welcome. I was like the person who walks in there, we're greeting them, so they become the bride here. Page 146, our call of community will remain standing, look around again, and just appreciate we couldn't continue with our quorum without all of you here. Again, 146.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed, HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed.
Page 148, why don't we read together in the Hebrew? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro mariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sharim, uv'betuna mishaneh yitim, u'machlif et azmanim, u'misader et hakokavim, b'mishmaroteim, b'arkia kirtzono. Borei yom la laila, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai svod shamo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hamariv aravim. And we continue with Ahavat Olam, page 150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochbeinu u'b'kumenu, נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 152, the Shema.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. 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 ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד.
You may be seated, page 154, V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In preparation for the Michamocha, let's turn to page 157. At the top, one of my favorite readings, a very inspirational one. We'll read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. With that in mind, we turn to 158, the Michamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושי פלא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Bless you, God, who redeems us in times we least expect. Let's turn to page 160 at the bottom, and we'll read together in English. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel for your name's sake. Be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace and to evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over your Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai paras sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. On the bottom of 162, last time Harvey and I led together, we got to do Yismechu, and we get to do it again, Yismechu.
Yismechu, the word Yismechu has the same root as Simcha. Simcha, joyous occasion, happy time, like happy birthday, Yom Haledet Sameach. So this song says, those who observe Shabbat, all of us, are celebrating a Simcha, celebrating a happy time. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, b'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, b'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shvi'i Shabbat, Kulam Yisbe'u V'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat, Shabbat Yismechu B'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, Chemdat yamim Oto karata Shabbat, Shabbat Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, שבת ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
You know, they missed something on this page. It should say at the top, select either Vishamru or Yismechu and clap. It doesn't have it there. I invite you to rise for our silent meditation, 164 to 180. Feel free to pray in the Hebrew or English or just your private prayers, and whenever you're finished, you may be seated.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
We're going to turn to our healing prayers on page 371, the Mishaberach. And I'm going to read our list. Before I begin with our list, I got a call in today. There's a gentleman named Mark Shepard who's in the process of dying. He's only has a week or so left, he was told. And I talked to his daughter, and his daughter said we should say prayers. It's not necessarily for him to recover, but just prayers for an easy death, easy and without any suffering. So please keep him in mind. Other people that we're thinking about as a community are Steve Bagel, Richard Zybak, Eric Cunningham, Murray Edinger, Carol Fisher, Sue Frank, Ida Frost, Maureen Furlong, Michael Gettings, Sam Golden, Freda Goodstein, Dick and Kathy Gordon, Heather Houston, Kathy Lederman, Miles Levy, Savannah Lucas, Megan McEvoy, Gail Nosenchuk, Leslie Oken, Robert Poses, Dan Quinlan, Ilya Ratner, Aidan Raccoon, Maddie Rinzenberg, Karen Rosenfeld, Cheryl Rossi, Brandon Ryan, Jill Turabasi, Eleanor Wasilewski, Mary Weiss, Sid Weiss, Robin Weinstein, Mike Wheeler, Shoshana Bat Brocha, Barami Bat Shulamit, Yocheva Bat Esther, Miriam Bat Razel, Avraham Ben Rivka, Chana Ezra Ben Shul, and Ruvain Ben Morris. If there's other names, just raise your hand. We'll bring all those names into our hearts, and in addition to other names that maybe we were thinking about right now, as we sing the Mishaberach, page 371.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha v'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. May all our prayers go out and be listened to, and may people feel encouraged in whatever struggles they go through. Shabbat Shalom. I want to turn our attention over here to our menorah. Now, it's not lit, but right over here, this is a temple menorah. How do we know it's a temple menorah? Well, it's got 6 prongs, and the one in the middle, which is meant to be the helper prong. Now, I'm not sure how you use the shamas here. We don't usually do it that way, but I guess it would operate like a Hanukkah candle. I mean, to imagine it lit, like here. This is the symbol of Judaism in the biblical times. Not necessarily, it didn't always look exactly like this, but similar. In the Torah, it's one piece of gold that's all made together and all connected with almond little pieces that hold the oil in that would lit. This was a powerful symbol. I've often talked about it here. It was the iPhone of the ancient world. You might think that that's a very strange comparison, but if you imagine a time where you don't have lights and all you're relying on is oil lamps, having an oil lamp that miraculously combines the light of 7 different lamps, it's quite spectacular. And it might have had the effect, technologically wise, it became the symbol of our people. When the Romans carried it off with them back to Rome, it was one of the most heartbreaking times. We have the image of that in Titus's motif in Jerusalem there. It's really something that's meant to inspire. This week's Torah portion is a tongue twister. I'm going to say it to you, see if you can repeat it after me. And Orna, you're not allowed to, okay? Or Harvey, okay. Let's see if we get it right, okay. Beha alot techa, behal alot techa, okay. See, it's very tricky. When you write it out in English, it actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 letters, see? All to have one Hebrew word that only has in it itself 7 letters, 6 letters. 6 letters, you need 14 English letters. That is an important word. You might hear a little essence of the word aliyah. If you've heard aliyah is to come up here to the bima to say the blessings in front of the Torah. It's also when you go to Israel, you make aliyah. You ascend, right? It's not the normal word that we use to light. In the English translation, they often say the word mount. We know the normal Hebrew word. Most of you familiar with the basic Shabbat prayers. We say the word for lighting every week. Lahadlik ner, to light the ner. And so these 2 words, these are both used biblically, dalak and lahalot, but they're used differently. So dalak comes from fuel, to refuel. And if you can imagine in a fire, it's adding wood to it. It's refueling it. And this is a very important part when you're trying to keep something alive. The behalotecha is usually used, this word aliyah, is usually used for the menorah, and it's used for the ner tamid. So the 2 symbols of ancient Judaism that we carry with us on our bima today, these are words, and they mean to uplift. There's something about building, constructing something so beautiful and magnificent when we think of the menorah that uplifts us all. I say that because this week in Western New York represents a lahalot, an aliyah moment, a moment where we're being uplifted. Because coincidentally, we have 2 events that are happening simultaneously. This week, we had the groundbreaking of the new Highmark Park in Orchard Park, right? That is going to be an amazing work of art that will really draw people, hopefully, throughout the area. At the same time, we have the AKG Museum, art museum, Buffalo AKG Art Museum, is starting. Some of you may be going this coming week. So we have one building that's in the process. I think it'll take a couple of more weeks to actually complete fully. But we have one building that is magnificent, that's just coming into the community. We have another that's just a few years away, I think 2026. These represent optimism. We don't build buildings like that unless you feel optimistic about where you are, unless you feel like investing, because they're hard. it took many years to build the AKG Art Museum, and it's going to take many more to build it, in addition to many millions and millions and millions of dollars that I think close to $500 million at least to build those two buildings. But they represent an aspiration that we have here. They didn't just build this art museum here in Western New York to attract Western New Yorkers. It is meant to attract people from all over. The new stadium in the same way. It is us opening up our gates and saying, this is a place that we're proud of. These are things that we're proud of. It is an uplifting experience. We can feel that, right? How many of you are going to go to the AKG in the next couple of weeks? Has anyone been allowed in there yet? I don't think so. It said the 15th, so it would be this coming week. It's very, very, very exciting to have this happen here in Western New York. I know the opening of Canal Side marked the rebranding and rebirth of Western New York. That one location really uplifted the entire mood. You can really mark the moment before in Buffalo and after. I say this in light of our recent trip to Western New York. To Pittsburgh. We're in Western New York, sorry. In Pittsburgh, we got to see 3 stupendous buildings that really represent the best of what Pittsburgh was trying to show the world. One of them, I went with a smaller group, so not everyone went, but a lot of us went by it. And that's PNC Park. PNC Park is a baseball stadium that opened in 2001 in April. And it is one of the most magnificent baseball stadiums. We'll have to get Al's impression. Where's Al? He's over here somewhere. Yeah, what do you think? Is it one of the, it's amazing. I'm going to tell you a couple. So it's actually smaller. It's only about 38,000 people that can be there. And the amazing thing about it is wherever you are in the park, there are no bad seats. Every seat turns in and lets you see. Every seat, no matter whether you're in the highest reaches of the stadium or the lowest. And the most amazing thing is it only cost $216 million to build. But it really represents kind of just, you go in there, and it's something I hope when Highmark Park comes back here, just the way the wind moves through there, it's so much more comfortable, and the way the shade works. Just everything about the design is incredible. And they have Roberto Clemente, the famous ball player who died in the plane crash in the 70s. His number and his likeness is all over the park there. So that's the first one. We also had a chance to go to Falling Water. This is just outside of Pittsburgh. This is an amazing piece of art, really. We have Frank Lloyd Wright, who is known for our area as well, with the Darwin Martin House and the Grace Mansion. Is that what it's called? Great Cliff. So we have two of them. I think there's another one too as well. There's 3. And these are amazing in just how much they inform our own houses. I mean, once you go here to the Darwin Martin House, you can't look at your own house the same way. After taking the tour there, I couldn't believe how many things that were influenced by that one house. It's really incredible. The Falling Water is similar in this amazing design. It's a much smaller structure, and it was built in 1935, and the owners were Jewish, Kaufmans, but you wouldn't know it walking around. The incredible thing is the waterfall comes in, and it kind of goes through, and the house feels like a waterfall too. Every sight line, you go from one rooftop to the next, and you see each one, and you just walk a little while down the road, and they have a pool there that it's a freshwater pool that collects water there. That house, by the way, was built for $35,000 Oh no, that was the estimate. The actual cost was $148,000, which is roughly $10 million today, I think, something like that. And the last one we saw was Rodef Shalom, which is a magnificent synagogue. We went to Rodef Shalom because this is where, in Squirrel Hill, where all these synagogues from Tree of Life are being hosted. Tree of Life, the synagogue that was attacked 4.5 years ago, is not in use. There's artwork all throughout outside of it on its gate, but it isn't in use right now. So we went to Rodef Shalom, and we got to see the amazing architecture and also see how they were housing all the different synagogue communities that were in Tree of Life. One of the most beautiful things that I saw there was inside their ark. They had 4 Torahs that were different from one another. This is sort of the Beth Zion of Pittsburgh. So you can imagine before 4.5 years ago, everything was in place. You would not have a single design that wouldn't fit in. But the Torahs in the ark, one of them, the guide that we had, a wonderful woman that was guiding us, she didn't even know where it was from. It was from one of the other synagogues. And so you had this wonderful mixture and welcoming that went along with it. It has a Kimball organ, this massive organ that they don't use anymore because it needs $1 million in structural repairs. It also has one of the also amazing things are these stained glass windows. They have motifs. These are very unusual in a synagogue building. They have motifs from Ruth, from David, from a couple of the prophets as well, and some of them were just recently redesigned. They have the 12 tribes as well. The building itself, it goes, it's hundreds of feet in the air. It's amazing. They have the light that needs to come down, and they also had sound problems. They had to install special things when they repaired the room. I know our board will be interested in that. So that cost also $250,000, about $10 million or so today. But that was back in 1907.
Don't tell Todd that you're going to
But I mean, it's amazing how it's lasted so long. At the groundbreaking here, Kathy Hochul spoke. I didn't have a chance to hear it, but I saw the words reflected in the paper. And she said, at the opening, she said, "This place will represent dreams to be realized, memories to be made, stories to be told, and many victories to be celebrated. May all of these architectural monuments that we're building, may they uplift our spirits as we look at them. May we look on at pride, at all that went into it. May it show the world that we are here, just like Pitts, our neighbor in Pittsburgh, and that we are here to stay, and that we believe in this beautiful area that we live in. May it be so." And we say, Amen. Yeah. All right. Well, that was, hopefully we'll all kind of be inspired as we go around and we see these works. I really can't wait to see the new stadium as well. Okay, we are going to turn to Elena. Before we do, and I'm sorry it's on a different topic, Sheila Bernard Tucker often sends me poems. This one was about how the Jewish community is feeling and how she's feeling with a lot of the anti-Semitism that's been swirling around. Coming back from Pittsburgh, I thought it was very appropriate to read as well. "Wicked, heartless attacks permeate our spaces where love once grew in gardens and lovingly seeded our communities. Did the years of masking and shutting ourselves off from one another cause a break in our abilities to share, to coexist, to resolve conflicts with revolvers, share space, share food, share moments, share joy, share sorrow? What has happened to our children? What came easy to them now requires effort, and they no longer laugh and play as before, spending hours, minutes, seconds huddled in cubbies and closets. What has happened to us all? Smiles are replaced by suspicion. Books are banned once again. Jews are a target, only now so much more pronounced and evident. Where do we go from here? We must stay close and remain together, asking our God to hear our prayers and protect us and our families and our friends. Where do we go from here? We go home. With that in mind, we turn to Aleinu on page 586. I invite you to rise. And Naomi, we need you. You were waiting so patiently there.
I backed out of this thing.
I didn't forget you.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We turn to our Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. This week, we are mourning Lenore Altman, Esther Green, Janet Hess, Jim Miller, Dennis Preve, Alex Ratner, Michelle Schaefer, and Sophia Shevat, and Lynn Ullman. Especially Gail and her family are glad that she's here to honor her father, Jim. On our yard site list from years past, we remember Irving Atlas, Mildred Barden, Harry Berman, Sylvia Burstein, Millicent Chutkow, Barry Cohen, Suzanne Cohen, Leonard Corris, Roberta DeBrune, Stephen Doan, Annette Favis, Edwin J. Gersman, Alan Goldberg, Frida Goldberg, William Goldberg, Marcia Grant, Hyman Green, Dorothy Heller, Sidney Letman, Sandra Lynn Lodge, Richard McCormick, Dr. Robert Mintzer, Stuart Nadel, Irving Ostroff, Lila Patikoff, Tilly Peller, Marshall Raphael, Frida Rubenstein, Linda Sellers, Nathan Sweet, Leah Wagner, and Knesset Whitcomb. If there's other names you'd like to mention? All those whose custom it is to rise, again, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach hirtei v'yamlik malchutei v'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala u'bizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam l'mei maya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'yimur amen. Yehi shlam rabamin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimur amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, and we say amen. Zikranam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated, and Bruce is going to offer our announcements.
Shabbat Shalom again. I told Joanne, hey, I have a podium here. Why don't you write up some more announcements for me? She offered to do it. I said, no, let's not. Thank you to Rabbi Alex, special musical guest Harvey Horowitz, and Nick Stelzer, and the organ. for a beautiful service tonight in honor of Shabbat. Thank you to Sheila Bernard Tucker and Pam Sugarman, our wonderful service greeters this evening. Tomorrow morning, we have a Torah study that is a virtual offering at 9 o'clock. That is via Zoom. The Shabbat morning service and Kiddush luncheon will be at 10:45. That is at Temple Beth Tzedek. Sunday morning, the men's group wraps up this year's speaker series with Walter Gordon, who will be talking about the Gemini space program, which, for those of you that don't know, if we didn't have the Gemini space program, we wouldn't have had the Apollo space program, and Neil Armstrong would not have walked on the moon. It's a really cool story, and I'm looking forward to hearing Walter talk about it. This straight C science student is fascinated by rocket science, and we have a rocket scientist talking Sunday morning. Did you bring your moon rocks? No moon rocks? All right. Bagels and lox, though. Okay. So that is Sunday morning at 9:15. Next Friday, we have one of our more special services of the year. That is the marriage reconsecration service. And this year, rather than just marking milestones, we're opening it up to everyone. So any married couple that would like to take part, whether you've been married a year or 40 years or 30, how many, Pam? 38? 38 years married to Todd.
And
That's Sugarman years.
and that Friday is their anniversary.
No, it's a couple days later.
Oh, a couple days.
Anyway, so that's the marriage reconsecration service. It will be lovely. We will be having special guests. We have award-winning vocalist Jay Dreff accompanying us that evening, along with Ken Kaufman at the piano. So please join us. Even if you're not celebrating a wedding anniversary, even if you're not married, just show up. It's a lovely service. It is one of our nicest ones of the year. That is next Friday night. We want to thank everyone who either volunteered or supported Chevetta's this past Tuesday. We had no air quality issues in our parking lot. We smelled Chevetta's smoke. It was great. The next one is June 20th. The safe driving class, I want to say thank you to everyone who took part in that this past Saturday. Deb Fine took the class. Larry Kerman took the class. Sherry Jo Reich took the class. Cantor took the class. That's why she's not here tonight. Anyway, a couple of years ago or last year, I forget which, Cantor had asked me to donate the proceeds from the class to refurbish the piano here in the sanctuary. This year, we're going to refurbish another piano, which is the one down in the open area, and get to use that for other things. So, oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. I really enjoy doing it, and I'm happy to support the temple that way. Thank you. All this month, Tikkun Olam team is collecting food and personal item donations. That's for the Tiger's Den Food Pantry, and you told me last week where it is, and I forgot.
It's in Amherst.
Church right on Main Street near Westfield.
Okay, so we have the bins out front. Please drop off food, personal items. That's this month. Next month, how are we going to do it when we're outside? We'll have bins outside, I suppose, on Friday nights? We'll figure out a way. The Tikkun Olam team is doing a great job, and we want to continue doing that. Rabbi Alex talked about the Pittsburgh trip. Show of hands who all went. Pictures, by the way, looked great. It looked like it was a wonderful trip. I'm glad you guys were able to take part in that. Thank you to Nancy McGorry for putting that together. Who knows what she has up her sleeves next? It's going to be, I'm sure it'll be very interesting. A couple things coming up over the summer to be aware of. Summer Arts Camp, July 10th to the 14th. That is for kids K through 4th and 5th through 8th, including music, art, theater, movement, and more. There's a flyer outside the sanctuary. And our big event is coming up July 15th, Summerfest. Of course, last year we had our big 10th anniversary party, and everyone had such a good time that we said, we're just going to do it every year. We don't need a 10th anniversary to have a party. So we're going to do Summerfest. It'll be outside under the tent. We're going to have food. We're going to have drink. We're going to have dancing. It'll be a lovely evening. It's only $10 a person, a nominal fee that doesn't come close to covering our costs. So please get your reservations in. Talk to Joanne after the service if you have any questions. Talk to Todd. But please get your reservations in for that. That's going to be a wonderful evening. That is July 15th. More upcoming events in the service leaflet. Take one home with you. Hang on to it. If you need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to the rabbi, the cantor. Well, not the cantor tonight. Let's let her get better. Rabbi Alex, Cantor Frank, Todd, Joanne, or myself, we are here for you. Please join us after the service for the Oneg Shabbat, which is sponsored by Terry DeBrun. Hi, Terry. Nice to have you with us tonight virtually. This is in memory of her mom, Bobby DeBruin, who was on the Ortsite list tonight. Terry, we were talking earlier that your mom would have baked tonight. She would have baked a zillion things, and she would have been first in line for the food at the Oneg. So we think very, very fondly of Bobby DeBruin tonight. Thank you, Terry, for doing that. By the way, you should see it. Joanne did you proud. She spent like a drunken sailor this week on the Oneg. If you would like to sponsor an Oneg for any occasion or for no reason whatsoever, talk to Joanne. We're happy to accommodate you. Thank you again for being part of our wonderful Shir Shalom family, and Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, and I want to wish a happy birthday to another of our virtual participants, Toby Horowitz. She watches our services every week, and she had her big 75th birthday this week. So we wish her a mazel tov. May she go from strength to strength to strength. So happy birthday, Toby. We are going to turn. Are we doing Adon Olam, right? Okay, 625, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
Terem Kol,
Terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Biacharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hove, Vehu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
V'terem Kol,
Terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Vehu Echad, V'yein Sheni, Lahamshilo lahachbira Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Velo Haoz V'hamisra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Vehu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzur Chavli B'yetzara Adon Olam, Vehu Nisi, Umanosli, V'nakosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
V'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa,
Liet Nasa,
V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'yado Avkin Ruchi, B'yetishan B'ya'ira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi Geviati, Adonai li velo ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
V'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
That was great, Harvey. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you came in peace, may you leave in peace. Shabbat Shalom. Please return your Siddurim, your prayer books to the front minus the leaflet.